So number one, graph the parent function first. Students, these are the same 5 values that I want you to use. Okay, so here's x, here's y. We will have some negative values and we will have some positive values. We will start out with -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. I want you to use 5 values for the parent all the time. What is the absolute value of -2? Yes, that's right. How about absolute value of -1? Yep. 0, 1, and 2. Yep. So what, in essence, absolute value bars? What happened to all of your y values? They make everything positive. So absolute value functions, guys, think of it like a shower door, okay? You get in, negative number, let's pretend they're dirty. You come out clean, positive. Positive, you take a shower, you're positive, you're already clean, you come out clean. So it doesn't matter what happened to the parent function of absolute value, it's always what? Positive. Like, let's plot. We're going to go -2. We're going to go up 2. Okay. -1, up 1. 0, staying at 0. 1 is 1. And now this is where I want you to use your ruler, your ID, whatever it is that make a straight edge, y'all. And do not go past, okay? Okay. Arrows on both ends. Make sure it looks, make 2 perfect lines and make it meet up at the bottom. Now the bottom is what we call the what? The vertex. And that vertex, student, that order pair is 0, 0. An axis of symmetry, meaning that where do we fold it? What line do we fold it? So the left and right will line up perfectly. So where are we going to fold this? The y-axis. And that line, students, it's, can you guys see the line? Even though it's called the y-axis, that line is actually an x equals to what? 0. Okay. So axis of symmetry, it's x equals to 0. Now this one says the rate of change. Anybody know the word rate of change here? It's fancy for the slope. Yeah. That just reminds me of that song, like fancy, like. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have. But barely anyone has been through.
All right, aka slope. Now look at this for me. I know. Okay. This line right here, this half, is that a positive slope or a negative slope? Positive slope. This line over here, it has the same exact slope, but it is a negative. So what number is in the front of this absolute value bar? 1. So the slope, we have 2. It's going to be plus and minus. Plus and minus what? 1. Because there's, okay, so plus and minus 1. Okay. Now normally, students, we would fill all of this out, okay, but we are going to save it for later, 2.7. Okay, next. What would you say the shape of an absolute value function is? Fill it out in your notes. What is it made of? I want you to fill that out. So first, fill out the shape, and then what is it made of? So Dexy, what shape is it? A V, okay. And Margot, what is it made of? Positive and negative what? X value, you're right. But would you guys agree that they are made of what? Huh? You're right, it's made of 5 points. What are those things? 2 lines, right, guys? 2 lines or 2 rays. Would you guys all agree with that? Okay. So 2 lines, or I'm gonna slash rays. Okay. Okay. Next, you guys have a blank box. I would like for you to fill this in. Okay. Fill that in your notes.
Please don't make it fast. My hands are weak.
I'm gonna wait for you to be done. Okay? Fill it in. Alright, Katie, can you help us read number 1, please?
Find the vertex.
Yeah. Steps to graph your absolute value function. Find your vertex. Hey students, what is the vertex of the parent? We just fill that out. What's the vertex of the parent? 0, 0. There's no h in k. Remember, the parent functions are kind of boring. We're parents. We're kind of boring. Think of it that way. Right? So. Right. Daniel, can you help us with step number 2, please?
Graph the vertex and access the symmetry.
Good. Then next, we want to plot the vertex, graph the vertex, and the axis symmetry, we're going to use a dashed line to kind of identify where the middle is. Josie, can you help us with number 3, please?
Determine if the graph opens up positive a value or down with.
Perfect. Remember, the a value is always in front of the absolute value bar. So if that number is positive, it will be opening upward like the parent. If it's negative, it's going to be opening downward. Okay, let me move it up because I know some of you guys are done with 1. Nolan, can you help us read number 4, please?
Graph the slope to the right.
Good. So remember, we have 2 slopes. Do the right slope. Okay. Aurora, can you help us read number 5, please?
Graph the opposite slope to the left.
Good. So now remember, do the other side. And Ava, can you help us read number 6?
Find all the defining characters.
We're going to do the characteristic in the later section. Okay, so right now we are going to focus on graphing and just a couple of the characteristics, but not all. Who needs more time on copying the steps? All right, let's go. Examples 2, 2, 3. Olivia, can you help us read the instruction to examples 2 and 3, please?
Graph, then find all the defining characteristics.
Awesome, thank you. All right, here we go. Step number 1 in the instruction. Sean, step number 1, it says for us to do what? Find the vertex. All right, guys. Remember, our equation is always y equals a times the absolute value of x minus h plus k. The vertex, students, it's always h comma k. So we have to identify what h is in number 3 and what k is. So number 2 says y equals negative 3/4 times the absolute value of x plus 1 and then plus 5 in the end.
Is h negative 1?
Is h negative 1? Good question. Do you guys agree with me?
Yes.
How do you know it's negative? Oh, yeah. Guys, look at the equation. Good job, Katie. If you look at the equation, okay, it's negative 3/4 in the front. But to have a positive 1, remember, our formula always have a minus h. Can you see it? So to have a positive 1, would you agree that that has to be a negative 1 for us to become a positive 1?
Yeah.
So H is negative 1. H is negative 1, okay? Then what would K be? Negative 1 comma what? 5.
Mind blown.
Okay, so plot that first. So it's going to be negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5. All right. On number 2, Diego, on number 2 of our guideline, the steps how to graph. What does number 2 say?
Graph the vertex and its axis.
Axis symmetry, right? So axis symmetry, students, remember, the absolute values right now can either open up or down, okay? So the axis symmetry is smack center, which is where the what? The vertex is. So right, take your ruler, draw a dashed line. This is your axis of symmetry. That means left and right will be exactly the same, okay? I'm going to call it AOS, axis of symmetry. So that's going to be x equals to what, guys? Negative 1, okay? It's always, AKA, it's always x equals to h, okay? The rate of change represents what, guys?
The slope.
The slope, AKA slope. And we would have 2 plus and minus what? Not 1 anymore. 3/4. What's in the front? Negative 3/4. So it's plus and minus 3/4. Okay. Now, would you guys agree that the A value, what is the A value? Positive or negative? Negative 3/4. So how is it going to open? Opens down. You're right. Okay. Okay. So we are going to use the slope from the vertex to graph us the V. Okay. We already have the vertex. So let's start with the right side. If it's 3/4, students, oh, by the way, if you wanted to, can you write negative 3/4 and then the other one could be positive 3/4? Would that be okay still? Yeah, okay. So remember, up and down would be the 3, okay? So we're going to go down, 1, 2, 3. If you go down, we're going to go right how many? 4. 1, 2, 3, go right. Okay, so that's 2 dots. Now on the other side, we have to go down again, but instead of going right, we would go where? Left. All right, now use your straight edge or your ruler and connect those dots. Can I go beyond my vertex? No, do not go past the vertex. The vertex is where we stop. And then the rest of the characteristics, students, we will save it for 2.7. In example 3, I would like for you to identify your H and your K value and the equation for the axis of symmetry. Okay, identify H, K. What is H? What is K? Once you have your H and your K, can you please share your partners?
3 and negative 1.
Well, I thought
They went to the pool, but then they got out early. I didn't go in the pool though, so.
Hey Slater, what's your H value, bud? 3, perfect. Calvin, what's your K value? Perfect. So student, put it together. Vertex would be what, comma, what? 3, comma, -9. Axis of symmetry, you have to have it as an equal. Okay, so make sure something equals. It's an equation. Shay, what equals what? Perfect. Student, it's always h, right, guys? X equals h. In this case, h is 3, so we're going to do that. Okay, we can also state the rate of change right away. Talia, what is the rate of change, aka slope? 2? Is that the only slope? It's -2 as well. Or can we write plus or minus 2? Is that also okay? Perfect. Now, let's identify A to see if it opens upward or downward, okay? So Margot, A equals what in this example? 2. And how would that help us? Is it going to open upward or downward? Good. Opens up. Perfect. Step number 1. We will plot the what, Katie? What are we going to plot? Good. So 3, go down 9. Perfect. Okay. Guys, if your slope is 2, how would we use that? This up 2 over 1, right, guys? Perfect. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. I tend to make a lot more dots, okay? I want my line to be nice. All right, I'm done with up 2 over 1. What else can I go? What's the other side? Up 2, left, yep. Remember, it opens up. So up 2, left, up 2, left, up 2, left, okay? Straight line. Get your ruler. Where would I be graphing out the axis of symmetry, guys? At x equals to what? 3. And use a dash line for me, please.
It's hard looking at the screen and trying to catch it.
Oh, it's okay. I'll wait for you, okay? Yes. For right now, we do. When we get fancier, we don't. All right, student, is that the end of our 2.3? Because we will save this for later.